Thank you for joining us for Together San Diego. I'm Paola Hernandez Xiao from the San Diego Union-Tribune. Our guest today is Stephen Luke, NBC7 anchor. He will discuss NBC7 and Telemundo 20's effort to make a positive impact in our community through local impact grants powered by Comcast NBCUniversal. The grant program recognizes and awards unrestricted funding to local nonprofit organizations tackling everyday problems to make a difference in their communities. Hi, Stephen. Thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Paola. How are you?
I'm
Thanks for
doing
having me.
great. Thank you. Tell us about these local impact grants that NBC7 and Telemundo is offering in our community.
Yeah, we're really excited about this, and we've actually been promoting it on air for several weeks now since this year's edition has been launched. People who've been following this might be familiar with it. It used to be called Project Innovation, but the name has changed this year to a different name. We're calling these NBC Universal Local Impact Grants, and I think the name really defines what this is and what it's designed to do. Obviously, NBC Universal, that's who we are, along with Telemundo 20 in there. And we have the local part of it, which is so important because this is through all the local stations through NBC Universal. It's not just in San Diego, but a lot of the big cities and markets across the country, from New York to Los Angeles, Chicago, Philadelphia, and Dallas, just to name a few. And in all, there's almost $2.5 million in unrestricted funding up for grabs for local nonprofits. And so what that means for San Diego is our share of the pie is $225,000 of this money that can go towards nonprofits. So there's the local part, which is grassroots, super important. There's the impact part, which probably speaks for itself. There's the impact that we're having on these organizations, and then the impact they in turn are turning it around and having on the community around them. And then it's the grants, it's the unrestricted funding that I know nonprofits are so excited about.
Definitely. By when do they need to apply, and where can they apply?
Okay, good question. So the deadline is coming up, still a few weeks for nonprofits that might be interested. Still have about, I think it's 2 weeks from Friday, so 2.5 weeks or so. That is, I'm going to check the date. It's April 21st. And you can go to our website, nbc7.com/community. And if you want to apply in Spanish, obviously here in San Diego, we have such a large Spanish-speaking community and organizations doing great work in some of those areas. You can go to telemundo20.com as well.
I see that you do have the options for folks to apply here. Becas de Impacto is what they're called in Spanish. And you do have the option for them to apply there at telemundo20.com/comunidad. Thank you for sharing that. I'm also sharing on screen that they can apply at localimpactgrants.com by April 21st, which is the date that you were sharing with us again. And these are the NBC Universal Local Impact Grants that are available here in San Diego to local nonprofit organizations. You shared the amount, $225,000 is the amount of grants that are going to be awarded locally. How many grants are being awarded, and what are the key grant eligibility requirements for the nonprofit organizations?
Sure. So it'll be a minimum of 3 nonprofits that get access to this funding, and a maximum of 8. And regardless of how many in there are selected, whether it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 nonprofits, each organization will receive an amount that is tailored to them and based on their application. So it's not like it's split evenly. At a minimum, every organization will receive at least $5,000. But when we're talking about $225,000 and a maximum of 8 organizations that may be involved here, typically the amount is more than that. And so there's 3 key areas that we're really focusing on. One is youth education and empowerment. Now I can get into more on what that means, because it's not necessarily schools. The other is fostering the next generation of storytellers. You see that right on your screen there, and also enabling community engagement. So in terms of youth education and empowerment, this really isn't money that's going to schools. They aren't the ones who are applying. We're talking about academic enrichment programs, youth development programs, STEM, STEAM. Those are some of the areas where we're looking to make an impact. And then when we talk about next generation storytellers, I mean, this is something that's near and dear to my heart, obviously, as a journalist who's been in San Diego for more than 20 years. These are arts education, filmmaking, storytelling programs. And then finally, I think the catch-all is really community engagement. And that speaks for a large variety of nonprofits and what they're doing here in San Diego. Just programs that are allowing everyday people to get involved and make a difference in their own backyard.
A lot of information being shared. Again, I want to share on screen where the community can apply and the deadline. You can apply at localimpactgrants.com by April 21st. It's very important to apply by the deadline. And you can also find more information at localimpactgrants.com and locally at nbcsandiego.com/community. And as you mentioned earlier, in Español, in Spanish, with Telemundo 20 at becasdeimpactolocal.com and telemundo20.com/comunidad. Something else that you would like to add?
Well, just the fact that these are general operating grants. I think I mentioned that when we first started talking, but these are unrestricted funds. And I know that's something that's not only helpful, but just it's desirable among the nonprofit community because there aren't as many strings attached. Obviously, it's from a private company, and this is not a government grant. So you've got a couple of things there that are just really helpful in being able to put this money to use without having a lot of the legwork that goes along with it. I will say there's already been a lot of interest, but we're hoping there will be more. We understand there's been more than 50 approved applicants so far. I think 56 was the number I got at work. So that's great. And we hope to announce all of these in August, the 3 to 8 San Diego nonprofits that will be receiving this $225,000 in grants.
Thank you very much. Thank you to you and to the team, to NBC Universal and to the team at NBC San Diego and Telemundo for sharing this information with us today so our local nonprofits can apply. Steve, always a pleasure to see you. I know you go by Steve and I call you Steve. Always great to see you. A wonderful opportunity to interview you. Thank you very much for the work that you do and for sharing this information with our viewers.
Oh, Paula, thank you so much for having me on. It was great.
Of course. And thank you to Javier for helping me to coordinate this interview with you. Also, thank you for watching today. If you would like to watch more of these Together San Diego segments, you can go to SanDiegoUnionTribune.com/TogetherSD Live. Thank you very much, Steve. Have a wonderful day.
We'll see you soon.
Thanks. Take care. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day.
News is more important today than ever before.
I'm currently outside Otay Mesa Detention Center.
I'm about to get a report at Sharp.
Out at Sunset Cliffs.
COVID testing site.
We live for these times when we're able to bring the news into the homes of people who need it the most.
I thank all of you for supporting our work.
When you subscribe to the paper, you're telling us that you believe in what we do.